Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to All the Mods 6. So since the last episode, it hasn't been a ton of time because I want to go ahead and get today's project at least started, because it's something that's going to take a little bit to run, and it's something, getting the radius staff is kind of important. That way we can start setting our rat's radius and kind of cut down on how much they're searching. So what we're going to do, let's go ahead and get ourselves a mob masher, or iron spikes first, and then we'll get the mob masher. Now in addition, I'd like to go ahead and get, I think, 10 sharpness and 10 looting, because the drops that we're going to be going for are not super common drops, and having that extra chance to get those, it would be quite nice. So let's go ahead. I guess we don't really have to go to 10 sharpness upgrades though, because I know the mob masher can't insta-kill rats without any sharpness, but honestly I think 4. We'll see how it goes. 4 actually might be enough, to be honest. And then let's go ahead and get ourselves, we're going to get an absorption hopper, and we are going to have to get a piece of blaze powder. Now I should mention, because it's brought up in the comments, generally every time I go with something other than it, but there are fell pumpkins. You can craft those. Their default recipe in this pack. Just we're not going with that because Potion Master, something a little bit different for us, so a little bit more fun to get into, and at least use a little bit. But if you're interested in saving a few materials, you can go with the fell pumpkins to spawn yourself some blazes. Alright, so there is our absorption hopper, and of course we're going to use this to grab the XP and all the drops. And then let's go ahead and make ourselves a lever. Let's also make ourselves, let me get some chests, and we're going to make some cyclic crates for the time being. Oh, there we go. And then also while we're over here, let's get a couple redstone lamps. I think 3 should be good. If not, I'll have to go get a little bit more glowstone, but that's fine. There's that. And also, let's go ahead and get our wireless redstone stuff. We made it a few episodes back, and weren't able to use it. Let's get that, and let's get 3 of those. I think I'm going to use this to control our lights, but not control our mob masher. Oh, and this right here, we're going to probably use this today if we get to a certain setup. And we'll talk a little bit more about it, but basically what it does is it allows you to combine upgrades. A little bit expensive in this pack because it does require 9 diamonds. At least expensive right now, but for us. But long term it won't be that expensive. But it will basically allow you to have potentially up to 6 upgrades on a single rat. Okay, so where we're going to set this up at, I guess really, yeah, let's do it here. So we'll have the mob masher setting in right there, and then we can just have the lever for that attached right here. And of course, whenever mobs run into that, they're going to take damage, and it does count as a player kill. And then let's go ahead and throw our looting and our sharpness in there. And I don't think we're going to want any of these others, right? Because it's like Bane of Arthropods, Heads, Fire, and Smite. None of that stuff's really going to apply. And let me move all that stuff out of the way. So we'll have the mob masher there. I may change this to a frame lever once we get everything set up. But and then we're going to go ahead and put our wireless redstone transmitter in. Let's see. Well, let's do the absorption hopper first. And this is going to be setting in just right there. We're not going to be worrying about the XP right this second. I'm not that worried about it. But I do need the drop. So we're going to say that the south side is going to be items. So that this nozzle comes off here. And we're just going to put in our crate right there. And then if we toss that down, it gets grabbed and dumped into here. And then we're going to put in our wireless redstone transmitter. I guess right here is fine. This is what's going to toggle our lighting, which we're going to set up the lighting here in just a moment. Now, let me pop over, see how much garbage they have left over here. A little bit. Let's take this. Let's just get ourselves some compressed garbage. There's 10 pieces. That'll be fine for now. We're going to be going with compressed garbage until we can make diseased garbage. Because once we can make diseased garbage, we'll mix it up a little bit. And before we set that down, let's go ahead and also make ourselves a rat attractor. This right here. So there we go. There's that. And the purpose of this, of course, is that wild rats are going to see this as if it was cheese. And it's going to pull them over. So we're just going to hang that up right there. That would actually be even better. Yeah, I think I can leave this open. Okay, so then we're going to take and we're going to just pile our garbage up in this room. Kind of make it look like a big garbage pile is the plan. And then we're just going to mix in our redstone lamps. Like there, say there. And then we're going to take these and just bind them to those redstone lamps. And if we throw this into here, we activate it. Oh wow, actually I don't think it's Tinker's that's messing up. I think it's just the wireless redstone transmitter does not work. Because like it's not activating those lights at all. Okay, well I'll tell you what, until I sort out a different solution for this, I think if we just put a lamp right here, and we put a lamp in right here for now. I can manually turn these off, it's not really a big deal. But we do that, and we do that. That's going to start spawning rats and attracting them over. For right now, I'm just going to block this off. Yeah, there went one already. You can see, I mean, it's not like they spawn super fast, so we can easily walk in there without having to worry too much. Wow, they drop a lot. I think that was just one rat that just died. And what we have to do pretty much is just wait for a plague rat to spawn and get killed by this system. So I'll be back. I mean, like I said, this is going to take a while. I was wanting to do the kitchen a bit, and I am planning on kind of changing this up so we can actually use our rat tubes and just have them go outside. So while I do a little bit of building, I'm just going to kind of let this run, and hopefully we will get a plague rat. So I'll be back here in a bit. Okay, I've been doing a little bit of building, as you can see in here, just basically decorating out this little kitchen area. And you can see that the tube just kind of opens up there. And I do have to point out one thing that changed, because of course I downgraded from rats 7.2 down to rats 7.1.1. But this little kitchen area is just kind of decorated out. I've got some fridges here. If we step out, I had to change this over to potatoes because I forgot in the changelog for 7.2. It made it so that was what made the replanter upgrade work with this upgrade right here. It made it work with other crops from other mods like Pam's. But since we downgraded, he no longer replanted the kale without a planter upgrade. So what I did instead was just change it over to potatoes, change the whitelist for this route to potatoes, and everything's working good. I mean, potatoes don't give us as much harvest, but it doesn't really matter because we are making superfood. And it's still generating faster than I can eat the stuff. So I did do that. And in my test world, I tried setting this up with platforms. Rats do not pathfind over platforms very well. Because originally I was wanting kind of these platforms that ran up the side of this. But since that doesn't work out with rats, what I did was just kind of piled crates up here. So this rat can run up to its green rat tube, go through to the kitchen to dump off the potatoes, and then come back out to await more potatoes. So just kind of heads up on that. And I kind of derped. I actually forgot that plague doctors can sell plague essence. I knew they could sell plague tomes. I don't know that I'm ready for the Black Death right this second, because if I fought it, it would have to be something like spawn it in here and let the mob matcher kill it, because I don't think I'm ready for the Black Death. But you can see this has been running for a little bit, but I totally forgot. First up, that plague doctors can sell plague essence. And I also forgot, when I was building this building, I put a guy in here. He was standing here and I just built the wall around him. And he's still here. I was thinking he would despawn, but he doesn't seem like he is going to despawn, which actually makes our lives even better. So I might just set him up as a little merchant somewhere in here. So we've always got him. But he will buy raw rats. Oh, only one time, though. But that's okay, because the whole system that we just set up is still going to be applicable. It's just we're going to be able to shoot straight for the better garbage. And not have to mess around with this like lower end garbage. So let's let me dump off this. We don't need all of that. How many poison potatoes will you buy? 3, and then he stops purchasing. That's fine. But his plague essence, he sells that. We're going to go ahead and buy 4. It's probably more than what I need, but I'm going to go ahead and take 4. And this little area, I did kind of clean this up just a little bit. So, and sometimes these rats, like, they think they're close enough to the rat attractor. I could always move it back, I guess. They will eventually go into there, though. But I have a frame door. So let's step in here. Let's light this up. And let's... Oh, guess I touched that. Let's go ahead and pull up our garbage. And you can see I did expand out on our garbage a little bit there. And let me go... I'm going to have to get some more garbage, since we can't break this garbage down. And let's go ahead and take our first bits of garbage, and we're going to turn this into diseased garbage. Now, the normal garbage should spawn plague rats. I don't know, it may have changed, but I seem to remember it used to spawn plague rats, but diseased garbage is definitely going to spawn plague rats for us. So we shouldn't have to worry too much about the plague drops. And the nice thing is, what the plague doctors sell, that 32 emerald plague tome, we can just get that from plague rats as well. So we definitely want to go with that. I was thinking that garbage plague rat spawn was a lot more common than it seems to be, but that's okay. Since we can, I didn't think we could get that from plague doctors, but since we can, we're going to go this route. Let me light this back up for just a moment. And we would set this into the floor, except for the floor is also my ceiling in this area. So, and I'll probably try to get a little bit more diseased garbage inside this room, just so that when this is running... Oh, I think I just saw a plague rat. There we go. It's already begun. Okay. Now we shouldn't have to worry about plague essence, because we're actually going to be using this for a lot of different stuff throughout here. And definitely something that we want to get up and going pretty quick at this point. I'm going to hold on to that, actually. And all of this stuff will be useful, like the rat pelts. We can use that to craft leather, as well as the banner pattern, but we already bought that, so I've already used that. And, ooh, look at all that plague essence. It's great. It's great, and I believe they can drop plague tomes as well. I think it's a rare drop, but I think they can drop those. Okay, so let's go ahead and get ourselves... Is it, like this? No. Like that. Okay. Just a stick in the plague essence. It's going to give us the rat radius staff. Okay. And then what we can do is... Yeah, we can do this. Let's go ahead... Let me find the rat that we want. It's this one. So the staff is now bound to that rat. And what we're going to do... I know it's kind of hard to see. It can't really be helped. But this block right here is the one that he's breaking. So we're going to click it and we're going to set his origin to that. And we're going to drop this radius down. Because we don't want him to check a big area. We want him to check, like, right there. It's fine. So now he's only going to search this area for the ores that he's looking for. And beyond that, he's not going to try to harvest anything else. So that's going to help us out a ton. An absolute ton. Now this rat right here, we're going to set him as, say, right over here. Set his origin, and we're going to drop his radius down. Let's see. Let's increase it to like a 4. And let's set his radius origin to there. Nah. 4. We're going to go to a 5. Honestly, a 5 should be good because he's going to cover this whole area. That's one thing I'm not crazy about the rendering because you can't really see what's going on, but it works. That's the main thing. And this guy's backed up on power. That's great. Okay. Okay, and now what we need to do is I have to basically just go through at this point and adjust the radius on all of these. So I'm going to grab this route. I'm going to set him to here. Basically, any route that's going to be running checks, we don't want them to be just checking for 16 block radius. Because that's like... That's a massive, massive space. And it's what's going to really, really quickly kill our TPS. Now, a lot of these, if they're just transporting items, they only know to go from here to there, from here to there. So we don't have to worry about those, but it's stuff like the gathering and the harvesting that we kind of need to adjust. And basically just give them smaller radiuses to work from. So, and that also means that we can have our garbage pile back down here for decoration. Now that the radius staff is now ours and it's working. Also over here I noticed that we got our very first plague tome. So we can make a Black Death now. And also we did get another color here, the gray and white mix. We got that, so quite nice. I'm gonna set up, I've been working on breeding pairs, so. And now our TPS is a lot better. It's back down to where it should be, instead of teetering on starting to drop. So, routes without the radius staff it can get abysmal pretty quick due to just the amount of space that they check. And I did go ahead and switch this to compressed garbage because we've got plenty of the plague drops now. I'm going with compressed garbage right now because there still is that chance we could get an ancient coin from these guys. And I would like to maybe shoot for that because we're still a little ways off on the tiny coins, but I think if that runs for a little bit, it's like a 1 in 10,000 chance to get an ancient coin, but with this having like that extra bit of looting, we may actually see that before too long. And the compressed garbage, of course, is going to double our drop chances. So into here, I've got rats everywhere. I found that I really like this system for breeding. So basically over here it's 6 long and I have breeding here, and then of course these make one big cage, but when it's only one wide, you'll notice that rats can't really move around in it freely like they want to. So it actually kind of works out because these rats just kind of pile up in these side cages and then I can easily get them out. It just kind of makes life a little bit easier. But now another thing I'd like to do today is we are going to do a bit more of the cages. Just kind of talk about this briefly. We're going to go ahead and make a few cages. What am I short on? Oh, I used all my iron bars. You can go through iron bars extremely quickly. There's 12 cages. And let's go ahead and right over here, this is where we're going to build kind of our actual holding cell for our rats. I say holding cell, but it's going to be more of like a paradise. But let's go ahead, and you'll notice that if we put these cages next to each other, I think we mentioned this a couple episodes back, but when the cages are just lined up like that, they kind of make more of individual cages, even though they are connected. They're still really kind of cage, because you'll notice, I mean, like I said, the rats can't really move through this space very well. They just kind of get stuck and they bounce. Because they're wanting to go somewhere but they can't. But what we can do is we can expand out and make a larger cage, and we can build up and make the cage even larger. And oh, I'm gonna need so many cages. That's fine. I've got lots of iron, so let me go get more iron, like 2 more stacks. Yeah, it's still gonna leave me with 4 stacks. We've got plenty of iron. Plenty of iron, but I may have to do a little bit of a mining spree because I was actually backed up for a little bit, but now I'm starting to find myself running low really, really quick on iron. Okay, so there's 20 more cages. That should be sufficient for a minute. So we're going to go ahead and just build this out, and let's come over a little bit. And with this cage, we can actually add a lot of decorations. Like if you take a look at the rats mod, there's a lot of decorations. The only one that we've actually talked much about is kind of the tubes a little bit. We're going to be using those for giving our rats other ways to move through rooms and through like into this building. And then we also talked about the rat breeding lantern and the rat wheel, I guess. But there's a lot of other things here. There's like the little igloos. There's the hammocks. There is the rat water bottle, the rat seed bowl, all this different stuff that we can use. And we're actually going to set up, this one is 4 wide. Yeah, I can do 4 wide over here too. We're going to set up a tunnel there, and then just kind of run this over to this cage. So they'll be able to travel from this cage to this cage as at their wheel. I'm going to make, actually I've got enough iron on me. Let me go ahead and make a few more cages. I'm actually running out of wheat. And you can blast through some iron, I tell you what. Let's go ahead, and we'll go ahead and build this one out here a little bit. Let's do that. I gotta go through this place and work on some lighting. But at this point, we can come in and we can grab. We're actually just going to be putting in there. We're just going to be putting basic rats, and then we're going to keep our special colors for a separate cage. Yeah, 3 rats. So let's just take these over here, and actually before we put them in, just to make things a little bit more interesting, let's set this to wander and toss it in. Set this one to wander, toss it in, wander. Well, surely you're not just going to stand there and jump. Okay, there he goes. He's trying to go through the tunnel. There we go. Now he's hanging out in the tunnel. And once we get some stuff in there to keep their interest, hopefully they will quit just bouncing around. And basically all of our like basic rats are going to go into here. And then let's get ourselves... Yeah, we got some plastic upstairs. And this is the point where we're going to start using quite a bit of plastic, because when it comes to rat cage decoration... oh, I'm sorry. But let's go ahead and get a rat seed bowl. And we're going to put this in, let's say right... Let me actually pull this off for just a moment. We're going to put it in... we're going to put it in right there. So we'll have a little seed bowl for them to eat out of. Of course, this is all just decorating. I just want to point out that it's there. Because a lot of these rooms, that's what's going to be in here, is a lot of rat cages and stuff. And then also kind of our little decorative kind of community rats. Like these, for example, we're going to have kind of filled out through here. Now, the upper floors, I already have a plan for what's going to go up there. And we're going to get into that. We're going to be getting into that pretty soon. So... and then let's make an igloo, and of course we can dye these. Let's dye this one pink, and then we can come in and let's put the igloo in, let's say right here will be their igloo, and depending on the direction that you place it, it's going to place differently. So you can see the tunnel is there on this side. Now if they'll behave, they'll actually play with this stuff, but... And let's go ahead and throw in a spinning wheel, or a running wheel, like right over here. Seems like all they want to do is bounce, though. And then let's get a water bottle. We'll put that in, and we'll probably end up having some duplicate things in here as we expand this cage. But we're gonna be setting up a lot of cages. So water bottle in right there. And then we can also give them a nice little hammock to lay in. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a hammock, and we're going to dye this red, and we're going to set the hammock up like right there. And so we can just kind of decorate these out, and if we wanted to, we can have rat tubes come out and exit out to like the outside here, and then the rats can come in and leave as they want. You can see these rats, if they want to go somewhere, but they can't get there. Like if we open this up, the rats would then be able to exit out of here and kind of just wander around the base. Maybe once we have doors, we might have some wandering. you know, just not opened up to the outside. Or maybe specific rooms where they can kind of wander around in. And let me pop over and see about getting a little bit more wheat. I sold most of mine to villagers, so I don't have a whole lot of it. Let's get ourselves a couple more cages, and we're going to go ahead and set up a cage area. Let's do it right in here, and this will we'll have to expand it. But this is going to be for our special color rats. So, like that one. May even eventually have cages for each different kind, like each different color variation. I can't remember how many color variations there are. I think there's like 6, maybe. So we've only found 2. They're not, as you can tell, they're not super common. Okay, but I want to basically just take a little bit of time to kind of mention the rat cages, because we're going to be using a lot of these larger cages, these kind of multi-block cages. And we will still do some of these more like single cages. These are technically multi-block cages, like I said, but they're really more like single cages. We're going to do some more of those in places, but I think most of our setups are going to be these big multi-block ones. They're just kind of expensive, as you can see, on materials. Basically a lot of iron, more or less. Okay, now at this point I do also want to start automatically moving the stuff from our rat killing area, basically downstairs. And we're going to set up a drawer controller. Now I know rats don't interface with drawers all that great, but they can deposit into them. So let's go ahead, and we're going to be doing 2x2 drawers. There we go. Took it a second to recognize that one. We'll just add that to light it up. And then let's grab ourselves a rat. We're going to say that this is going to be your home point. You're going to deposit items into there, and you are going to take items from here. Now, I'm not for sure. The biggest concern right now is how well they're going to pathfind up the stairs, basically. That's my biggest concern right now. The drawers, not so much. Let's go ahead and grab a bit of this stuff. Death attack, stuck damage. Oh, it was my chef. Oh no. I've noticed my chef has been trying to go outside. I may have to rig something up because he keeps trying to go out the tunnel. So I'll have to set up my chef again. He keeps trying to go outside and like down around here and all this. Let's go ahead and we'll just slot in all these different items. And we will get some additional items as time goes on, but for right now, this is the items that we have. Okay, and then we're going to tell this one to transport items. Oh, you're gonna be smart about it. Your pathfinding is being smart. Probably should give this one a platter upgrade too, because it's never going to keep up otherwise. Oh, but getting back down... Actually, yeah, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Because I do plan on bringing in more drawers. Let's remove that. And I know that the quest actually gives us slaves. So let's take that. And we'll put in a slave there and say you deposit items into the slave. And that should make transfer a little bit faster. And I'm hoping that our rat can actually find it. He may not be able to. He might still be too far. It's funny because, man, he got up there fast. With no issue, but... Okay, well, I guess pathfinding with rats is definitely the hardest thing. Let me set this to stay here for just a moment. And I guess instead, we'll just have the drawer controller be here. And we'll say you're going to deposit here. This will be your home. And then transport. And there we go. Now he's transporting and just kind of bouncing around. He should get this emptied out pretty quick for us. Oh, but it actually filled up with rat pelts. Okay. So we'll just get an iron storage upgrade and upgrade that. And then, there we go. That's going to shoot up. Probably end up having to put a void upgrade in there as well. Oh, and this. You don't need that. Okay. That way we can just kind of store that stuff and let this run a bit longer. And then if he ends up finding something that he can't put up, he'll just hold on to it. Like if he gets an ancient coin, for example, he'll hold on to it for us. So, okay, I went ahead and set our chef rat back up, and I did set this one's radius, so I'm hoping that he'll stay in here and quit trying to move outside. That's what I'm hoping. But at least I was close by and I was able to get the upgrade, because that upgrade is a little bit of a pain to make. So we kind of don't want him running off and dying, I don't think. Okay, now let's go ahead and get ourselves a bench saw. And I want to get the gem cutter, because there is one thing from this in particular that I am going to want mainly for decoration. And this works a lot like the archaeologist upgrade, in that you can give this rat things. Like the archaeologist, you can give him things and he's going to research it and try to find, you know, kind of these relics and stuff. And the gem cutter works basically just the same way. And let me grab these. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up our gem cutter, and we're going to have him setting right in here. And I'm actually planning on filling this up with like some of his wares and kind of setting him up as like a little like, you know, one of those back alley merchants is what I have in mind for this guy. Let's go get a rat. Alright, so we're going to put him right in there, and we're going to give him the gem cutter upgrade, and we're going to say that that's your home, and you're going to deposit items in there. You're going to take items from there, and all that the gem cutter can make by default, which is true within this pack, is it can make little squash balls, and it can make the centipede. Now what I really want is the little black squash balls, basically just for decorating. So if we throw these into there, and we set him to now transport items, you can see he's going to grab that, and he's going to start like chewing away on it. And then once he gets done, he's going to make little black squash balls and put them into here. So that way we've got him available if we want centipedes, if we want the little black squash balls. Of course, these you could turn into the little black worm, turn it into the centipede, and with that you can make the potato niches. So that's the other superfood. We might make it just so that we can eat it, or maybe just hang it up, you know, on the wall or something like that. But for now, I just want these for decorating. I need little rat poop. Alright, now I'm going out. I'm going to kill just a few chickens. Just a couple here. That should be good, actually. And we are going to make a chicken mount. We're going to need 2 of these. And then we can get... And then let's go ahead and grab a saddle. And we are going to get the basic mount upgrade. Okay, we're going to throw that on there, and you can see that now... Well, that... That's not really where I wanted you to go. So you can see the chicken mount, it moves quite quickly. It does seem to mess up its pathfinding just a little bit. Either that, or it was able to deposit... I don't know, it may not work with this one. They work really good with like battle pets, like battle rats, but I don't know about this one. It just wants to get stuck on everything. That's unfortunate. Yeah, now he's like, okay, I know where to go. So maybe I won't use it with him. I was really wanting him to have a chicken mount, but let's see what happens whenever... Wonder if he'll still get stuck here. Oh. No, he does that instead. Oh, their pathfinding is so wonky sometimes. Okay, well. I really feel bad for you having to swim, so I'm going to take you over to the other shore. And there is some other transport upgrades that we'll get into, like Endor is really nice, Ethereal, Flight. I want to get B for our farm one, because he'll make the plants grow, but, you know, I've got to wait on that, because we got to start into bees. But we'll be getting into those as we become able to, basically. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do today, we are going to be doing some bosses. We're far from done with rats. It's just, I was really wanting to get a battle pet today, and that's why I got jury rigged. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to be able to afford it. It's just too expensive right now. I mean, we could go with a weaker one, but there's not a whole lot of point. What I'd really like to go for is just go ahead and go for Battle God. That wouldn't be a problem except for the diamonds. I just don't have the diamonds right now. So we might make some diamond site potions and do a bit of diamond mining. And then I think next episode we are going to delve into resourceful bees. Is really where I'd like to go, because we're kind of at a point now where we can start kind of breaking away from rats and then come back every so often. We still got a couple bosses to do. We got to go to Atlantis. We have a lot more setups to do, but you know, we've kind of gotten into the basis of rats. What I would like to go ahead and do, even though I do enjoy fishing on my own, I do want to go ahead and get some fisherman rats, but I think I'd like to make 2 of these. And I'm going to have to make some more barrels of fish. I'm going to hold off on it for right now, but once these run for a little bit, hopefully make some barrels of fish up for decoration. That's going to be really the biggest benefit to having fisherman rats at this point, I think, is being able to just make lots and lots of barrels of fish, because we're going to need a few of these for decorating. Let's get our fishing poles. Let's get our fisherman hats. And then let's get our fisherman upgrades. But I feel like I should probably get the fisherman up and going, because I would like to start going for damage protection just overall on some of our routes. And I was thinking I might go skeletal as well for some of our rats, just to keep mobs from bothering them, like having to worry about that. But let's go ahead and just grab a couple of these guys, and we're going to take them right over here. So I've still got to kind of decorate this area out and make it look nice. But I think this is where our rats are going to fish from. So let's go ahead, let's give them their upgrades. Oh, it's a male and female. Alright, let's take, well, let's start off, gosh, I just love it. Let's start off here. Let's set the origin and set the radius down. Ooh, gosh. I don't need a big radius, really. Let's set it down to there. And then let's go ahead, grab this one, set it to there, and set it down to like a 4 as well. That way they just kind of fish this little area here. And hopefully they don't try to find the water below them, you know. And then we're going to go ahead, set that. And we're going to say deposit your items there. And we're going to say harvest. So that one's fishing. And then this one, set home, deposit items. And then I'll probably add another rat that comes around, like another 2 rats that come around and pick this up. Maybe and take it to a drawer system. And I just heard this one make a splashing sound. So if we take a look, we got a message in a bottle. It's our first fished up item from our rats. Agriculture message 0. Okay. I don't think that those are actually implemented yet. I'm going to assume. That one made a splash sound, but it didn't actually catch anything. So as you can see, they're not super fast about it. We could add some additional rats, and I might. Oh, there's a salmon. But I may add some additional ones as we get some fish built up, but I'm already running low on fish. It definitely eats through fish pretty quick. I'm actually kind of curious if they're going to get aquaculture fish. I mean, it's something that we'll have to just let run and see. But even just regular fish, it's fine. I just want to make barrels of fish, to be honest, and fisherman hats for my rats. So. But okay, so we're going to let them just kind of start fishing away. And like I said, I probably will end up adding a couple rats that come around to those cyclic barrels, grab the items, and then take them, you know, into, I don't know, here, or actually possibly across over to this hall. We'll see. yeah, I think at this point we're probably going to wrap this episode up here. Like I said, we still have a lot of rats to do. We've done the basics and stuff, but we still have a lot to go through. I'm going to have to start turning that into trash, I think, raw rats and rat pelts, because we just have so many of them. But we still have an entire dimension to explore. 2 bosses. Well, no. 2 bosses for base rats, and then Ratlantis, adds a few, right? Ratlantis we went to once in that one mod pack, but I haven't done a whole lot with it. But I'm familiar with its upgrades and stuff that I've played around with in like test worlds. But that's gonna be exciting, because now we have a reason to actually go to Ratlantis. When we went before, we were just kind of like looking around and stuff, and looked forever and never found a Flying Dutchman. So. But we still have quite a bit to do, and a lot of big setups that we're going to be doing with rats. Like I do want to set up our lumberjack, which is going to be consistent of a lot of rats and stuff. And we'll probably do a quarry at some point. I don't plan on getting auto mining though until we at least have our mine done and whatnot. So I think next episode we are going to turn our attention over to resourceful bees at long last. I've been planning on getting into those for a bit, and I think it's time. And if we have time, we might do one boss fight next episode, just for basically one item that I want to use for decorating. So, we'll see. We'll see if we have time to fit that in. It should be pretty quick. It's just a quick boss fight, but related to rats. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. And I know the first episode of Rats comes out today, so I don't know for sure how you guys are gonna like going with our army of rats, but I hope you guys enjoy it. So, anyways, I'll see you guys next time. And just a quick note I wanted to throw in here: we can get the aquaculture fish. So it seems like we can get the aquaculture treasure and the aquaculture fish. So that's gonna help us out a lot.